right, guys, what is going on? What's good? What's good? Hope y'all are having a pretty good day today. That's what I'm hoping. We shall see. We shall see, my friends. And there's definitely some blood in the streets today. Nasdaq down 2%, S&P down 1%, and the Dow is down 0.77%. I do think we have some buy stops here. We are coming off of an old low, so just be mindful of that. But, you know, don't get cut trying to catch a falling knife, okay? That's what I will say. That is what I will say. What's good, Naruto, Ali, Katarina, and Nikki? And I won't be blessed by your presence tomorrow. Yeah, you'll be all right. I have to have an off day, you know? It's cool. What's good, Cameron? What's good, Sean? Man, oh man. So, real quick, as far as updates go, let's take a look at the Australian dollar. Sheesh. Look at that. Look at that. That was almost a 200 pip move, actually. Like from that very high to the very low. Yeah, 210. Not bad. So, did we get below 65.95? Yes, we did. What's good, Electric? And let me just make sure the stream isn't... Yeah, it's subs. Okay, we should be all right. We should be cool. Yeah, so very, very nice downside for Australian dollar. You guys already know how far... What's good, Leon? How far can price go below an old low? What's the answer? How far can it go? Either below an old low or above an old high. An imbalance below the low, imbalance below previous lows, or above previous highs. Okay, do we have that? Do we happen to have that for the Australian dollar? I think so. Price trades from what to what? Imbalance to imbalance. Right? Does it or does it not? Imbalance to imbalance. There might even be a 50 level in there too. It's close to it right now, actually, but yeah. So, because I'm pretty sure we talked about 65.95, and I think I said below that, and I didn't point this out to you here, but that's what it smacked into, at least for your notes. For your notes on price action. There you go. Very crispy, very clean. Oh, that's right. We'll do an update on the Dow as well. Okay. What were we looking for yesterday? I know I have a lot of markups on here, but we were looking for London's low and we were looking for Monday's low. So what did we get? Well, yesterday we kind of hung out in there. I wouldn't have held overnight. I think this movement here shocked a lot of people. I think it threw a lot of people off. Not you. Not us. Not the smart money Stoics community. We were expecting lower pricing. It came back up. doesn't fill in the gap, and then London, it got crushed and tagged. If you had alerts there, both of those alerts went off last night, or last night for me, but in the morning, you know, for that. So not bad. I mean, if your stop yesterday was rather loose, like at the high, and you held on, then yeah, that was easy 1 to 3, 1 to 4 right there. Right? All of Twitter saying, oh, don't trade August. August is not a good month to trade. Okay, well, 200 points on the downside for Australian dollars, not good. A fucking 1 to 3, 1 to 4 on the Dow Jones is not good. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Speaking of Twitter, oh my God. So I made not a mistake, but so I decided to try and increase my impressions, okay? So I've been going on big pages and commenting after they post. And dude, for today by itself, I'm at 612,000 impressions. 619K. And that's quite substantial. There was one reply I did. Right now it's popping off because there are so many comments, it's ridiculous. But right now it's at 135,000 impressions. The only one that's bigger than that was from yesterday, and it has right now 416,000. That's crazy. So, of course, inevitably, you talk about, you know, politics or religion or something like that, and everybody, you know, comes in with their opinion. So that's what's going on today. I mean, I have notifications every 30 seconds. Like it's at the point now where I don't even look at it. I can't look at it because it's just too much, man. It's just too much. So we'll have to leave it alone. I think there's going to be some buy stops here at the 1030 high. That's our most recent morning session high prior to lunch. 45.51 and a half. I think I said very similar for the Nasdaq. 15,523 and a half. Again, is our most recent morning set of highs. Anyone who's been short, where's our open? Here. So we got crushed and crushed and crushed, okay? And we actually traded below Monday's low. So if there is going to be, I don't know, even like a dead cat bounce, I would assume that anyone who's been short has their stops here at the highs. So I could see that being traded up into today. U.S. credit rating downgraded, causing dump or confirming dump? Neither. We were bullish yesterday before any of that shit came out. Probably an excuse, though. It's probably just an excuse to move price. Everybody always wants justification. Why this? Why that? So they'll blame it on the credit rating or whatever, but we were bullish yesterday before all that happened. So that's why I don't pay attention to that stuff. Although it did ramp up though. I mean, those gaps yesterday were pretty vicious. That was roughly a 15 to 20 point gap on the S&P. That's $1,000 a contract gap right there. Eesh. You know, that'll rip you a new one. So That was the point I made the other day. Someone, again, of course, on Twitter, they were like, oh, the only thing you can control is your risk. I'm like, no, you can't. Because you can be slipped. Your stop can be slipped. And then, of course, a day or two later, what happens? This fat ass gap occurs. So it's like, look, man, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I know a little bit about trading, okay? Just a little bit. Not everything. Maybe not even a lot, but a few things. Know what I'm saying? What's good, Stephanie? Andreas Trillionaire, welcome. So, yeah, we're going to take these off as well. That was just the lows that we were aiming for. This simply is an imbalance above the 930 high, which is slightly above the 1030 high. So again, same idea. I think there's buy stops here. The Dow, to me, is our stronger index for today. I just have a green box here because I actually thought potentially that was going to be accumulation under an old low. But we haven't really done anything. Like, we were traced very deeply, and it's not looking good like for long positions right now. So probably not going to be advantageous to long just yet. Yeah, if we're going to long at all. The RTH gap fill is, as explained, RTH is regular trading hours. Okay, so if you swap to regular trading hours, at least on the E-mini, okay, so right here, Thursday, 3 p.m., we filled that in. So because we filled that in and, you know, traded below an old low, I thought maybe that would be the low, right? Gap fill, below an old low. I figured we would probably set our low of the day, but I don't think I'm correct in that. I do not think I am correct on that. Oh, nice. So Jade got Discipline is Destiny, and I think Karen got her leather journal. I'm just waiting on some others to get their stuff in. There was one more. There was one person that had won, I think, the daily Stoic, but they haven't reached out to me yet. So let me see if they're here. Hamza. I don't know if Hamza is here, but if you are, you need to claim your book so I can send it to you. One thing to notice here too is the lows are very different. We have similar lows on the S&P as the Nasdaq. So just be mindful. Just be mindful. I'm wondering if this is going to be the down candle to send price higher. That's what it's looking like. Let me see one thing as well. Ooh. There's a gap right there. On the daily, which it has came forward. So we may have created our low of the day. That would make more sense now. Daily gap, filled that in, left some highs. Afternoon session reversal, possibly. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Oh shit, I forgot to eat breakfast and lunch. I can feel it now too. I feel hollow, like a skeleton. Can I purchase the leather journal? Look at the... It's probably in the description, to be honest. Oh, it's not. Wow. Okay. I'll get you the link. We'll get you the link, my friend. Well, there's all kinds of different journals. Let me see if YouTube will let me put that in there. Stephanie, see if you can click that link. These fucking emojis ran away. It should be a Maybell leather journal 6x8. They have a black one too, but I don't know. I've always just got the brown ones. Yeah. $26, so don't have any spelling mistakes. use the pages wisely. But it's worth it. But it is worth it. Yeah, this right here, I guess, is probably not going to be our low. It doesn't look that way. I mean, it did earlier. It looked like it was reacting off this down candle here. But it's... the more time it spends not going higher, the more I believe it's going to trade lower. The S&P, I would want to trade above this high, but I think just like the Nasdaq, there's a slight difference here. The S&P doesn't have those highs, and it has like these two lows right here. So, you know, today is mixed. Mixed, very mixed. Okay. Very, very mixed. Oh, that's right. Just trying to do some number crunching on the Nasdaq here. I guess a 1 to 3, the stop would have to be pretty tight from that candle. Like that low. Yeah, 1 to 3 is like way up there. That I could probably see. But it wouldn't make sense for us to just trade to that specific high. There's nothing over there that would indicate that that would be the high. I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. So, in other words, I feel very similar to yesterday. Like, they're mixed, and I don't. The confidence is low today. It's like I want to long the laggard and long the leader, and that doesn't make sense. The Nasdaq is our laggard today, so probably shouldn't long it, but those highs here are juicy, and coming off that daily gap, I think is juicy as well. Spotted a short in Amazon from 133.85. Put it on my paper account. It's coming good. Oh, nice. Very nice. Well, one stock I did mention to you already was Starbucks the other day. I did mention that. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Shit, it came back for that gap, didn't it? This morning. They had earnings yesterday. Shit, bro, I'm gonna shit myself. Because I was like, Starbucks beats earnings. I'm like, oh shit, they had I fucking bought right before earnings. What a goober. And then I look at it today and it's up. I'm like, okay, cool. Markets are bleeding. Markets are getting their ass handed to them. What's the number one stock that's up today? Starbucks. Let's fucking go, dude. Let's go. So, not bad. But I guess the question is, do we continue? Time will tell. But that's a nice candle, though. I like it. I like it. We swept that low, hit that gap, respects this current gap and an old gap. So there's a plethora of gaps here, and I think it has more upside than downside. So guess we'll let it fly. Guess we will let it fly. Yeah, that 5 minute looks pretty vicious, don't it, though? Yeesh. Crazy. Crazy, 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 but I like it. I like it. All right, so I guess we'll watch the Nasdaq then. I guess that'll be the one to watch. But I guess if what I wouldn't want, man, it's hard to say. I guess I wouldn't want it to trade below this candle's low. But I guess we'll see. And right, Katarina, it's about price action, not any specific asset or asset class. Some of them are going to have minor differences, of course, like the indices having earnings and stuff like that, or gold being heavily manipulated more so than others. Like, yeah, you're going to have little things like that, but in the general sense, in the grand scheme, like they all do the same thing. Dante H, welcome to tier 3. Don't forget to, oh, that's a great reminder, by the way. Don't forget to connect your Discord account to your YouTube. So you go to Discord and then you go to user settings, connections. And in the connections, you'll have options like Instagram, Twitter, whatever, YouTube. Okay, log in, and then that way it'll be connected. And then as soon as you do that, you'll see access to the Discord. You will see it. Well, should. I mean, that's what I've heard. I've never actually done it myself, but that is what I hear. Is that right? Hmm. Oh, the fucking box is stretched. Okay. No, I guess that's what we'll watch for the afternoon. But again, interesting day. The lows today have been weird. You know, I'm not getting the greatest vibes in the world. And yes, I do have a video on divergence. It's on the main page somewhere. It's a little bit older though. From Bangladesh, I have lose money. How do I be a profitable trader? What I have follow the rules? Well, profitable trading is about following rules. That is part of it. And it's really a 3-pillar system, like a tripod. And this is the video, the successful traders trio. Okay. So successful trading, and this is not financial advice, but successful trading requires risk management, money management, essentially, a an edge, right? So your trading strategy, which a winning strategy, of course, that wins over time. Not every trade, but that wins, you know, that will put you into profitability over time. And then a little bit of psychology, okay? Being able to have discipline, being able to implement your strategy without like getting out early or over leveraging or holding on too long, like greed, for example, you know, and stuff like that. Makes sense? But you'll obviously get more benefit from watching the video than, you know, what I can tell you in an answer or, you know, a minute or two. It's why I make those videos. You know, you could call them fundamental videos, like foundational ideas that are timeless. You know, I mean, because the successful traders trio is just a name that I have for that. And, you know, that really comes from successful, like super successful traders like Larry Williams, for example. And I think it was in Street Smarts, that book by Lawrence Connors and Linda Rasch. And I think it's in that conversation because Larry Williams has a conversation, I think, with Linda or someone else. I don't remember. It's an old book. I read it a long time ago. Forgive me, okay? But I think Larry mentions those three things: an edge, money management, and, you know, being able to stick to your plan or whatever. So I just happen to call it a trio because I like having names for things. Okay. So there's that. There is that. Do we have an alert there? Yes, we do. Yes, we do, my friend. Oh, there we go. So yeah, divergence video, successful traders video. There's a bunch of other free content as well. There is paid content, of course, but you know, I'm not going to constantly be pressuring you guys to become a member. You don't have to, but just know that there is more content beyond the free stuff. Plus, you get that sniper next to your name, which I think is really cool. So I think it's badassery, in my opinion. In my opinion. $12.37. Okay. Let's take a brief look at the S&P. So it didn't really have that same down candle that Nasdaq had. It's slightly higher. The down, I am out of tune with the Dow. I'll put it to you that way, because this looks sloppy. I didn't think this would be our low. It might be. All right. All right then. And that's kind of what I'm looking at on my other screen here as I'm trying to. I got so many screens. Trying to watch all three at the same time, but they're just so mixed. I probably shouldn't even bother with it, to be fair. God, it's 95 outside too. Yeesh. I've been going outside in the evening time to avoid the sun. That's how I've been doing a lot of my walking outside, is waiting for the sun to go away. Because even like at 7:30, 7:45 p.m. Central, it's still humid though. Like it'll be dark and I'll still be sweating a lot because of the humidity. You always watch price action on a 5-minute time frame, because I have a bad habit of watching a 1-minute time frame too much. However, I constantly check the higher time frames. Well, my friend, this is why we have that on there. On here, we have Monday's low, and then we have that daily gap here too. And that's a reminder, you know, that these things are there, which I think it would give support for this idea that this down candle should, right, hold and then send price higher. That, again, it's just what I'm thinking. That's my idea, okay? Because of those reasons. Now, a 5-minute by itself If I didn't have these here, I would say it's probably just reaching for liquidity. And if I didn't have those on here, this would have just probably been an order flow idea. But I probably would have been a little bit hesitant thinking that it might trade back down into this imbalance here. In other words, I want higher pricing on the Nasdaq, but my expectations today are low. Okay, I'll put it to you that way. My expectations are low. What do you think I should always do? I sleep a lot. Well, first of all, that's a very interesting question. And I don't know what to say. I sleep a lot too, my friend. And if Marcus Aurelius were here, he would say, look, it's natural to sleep, but nature set a limit on that too. So get up and stop being lazy and do what you were brought on this earth to do. In the Navy, I used to have a lot of sleeping problems. It was bad. That's why I drink energy drinks all the time, because I'm just so used to it. And that's like my caffeine. You know, other people drink coffee or whatever. For me, it's, I mean, caffeine, yeah, but it's more so like the energy drinks. And I know Willow's gonna say something if he's here. Civil's probably gonna say something if he's here too. I know. Yeah, you don't gotta tell me. I know. But that's basically where that came from. Was the Navy and all of its tomfoolery and bullshit. So it's I personally, I think it's a case by case basis. I mean, there are doctors that deal specifically with sleep. You know, they do like sleep studies and stuff like that, but it's hard to say if a sleeping problem is physical or mental or both. You know, maybe you sleep too much because you have anxiety or depression. Maybe you sleep too much because maybe you don't eat enough food. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea, and I'm not a doctor, so I couldn't tell you. I want to look at the Dow as well. The Dow kind of, it rallied as well, but then it just came right back down. It's like Dow is looking like it wants to make a new low, and then the S&P is just kind of chilling. And the Nasdaq's kind of chilling as well. I don't know. Again, low expectations today. Try to create a habit. How to create a good habit. Yeah, Katarina, if you know which video that is, you should let them know. This week, the indices aren't the best market to trade. Why do you say that? Put an alarm, and when you wake up, have an instant reward, so become a good thing to wake up, and your body relates to that. How to remove stress from trading. Well, I would say the easiest, well, this is probably what we don't want to see, is trading back into that. Personally, the removing stress is hard, man, because again, just like with sleeping, it could be a number of things. It could be you're over leveraging. It could be you using a strategy that may not be a good strategy. Like sometimes with me, sometimes my ego gets in the way. Like I don't want to be wrong. And that, like, not trying to avoid losing, I think is can usually cause anxiety as well. Meditate just before sleep. My sleep became much more deep and less stressful. Or there you go. There you go, man. So there's some ideas for you. Yeah, see the Dow this whole 12, about 2.5 hours has just been strange. Strange. I mean, lunch activities, that's not uncommon. Morning routines are good to create consistency, in my opinion. That's just what works for me. Best time to trade. Well, the indices aren't pairs, but I understand. Is when the New York stock market opens. So the stock market open is at 8:30 my time. So that was back here. That was here. But there are 2 sessions. Well, really 3, but I don't really count like the lunch hour as a session, but there is like the morning and then the afternoon. So like AM and PM. So right now we're in the PM session. I don't stream in the morning. So right now this is our afternoon. We've kind of danced around. We traded deep into this down candle again, which we want to see, or at least I want to see from here to launch above these highs. That's what I would prefer. We're kind of meandering around back at this old Monday's low. So that is one thing to note as well. Like, so we traded below Monday's low and then we got above it and now we're just hanging around here. We're just hanging out, just chilling. And that to me is interesting. To me, it is interesting, my friend. You need to wake up earlier, try going to sleep earlier. Makes sense to me. The video is called Get More Discipline, Create Good Habits. Oh, yeah. That's right. I did put out that was actually a more recent video. That was a more recent one. Yeesh. So we got a decent reaction here. And we kind of just gave it back up. And that's probably not good. Like, so if we entered anywhere in here, I'm usually someone that goes break even on that. Because I wouldn't want to see it trade back into this anywhere near like this candle's low. Like if you extend this down candle here, okay, like that. Right there, right, that was solid. Now that it's back into it, like that to me is not usually a good signature. Usually not. Sometimes I mean, it can still launch up there, but as we went into this, I have low expectations today. And yeah, Atomic Habits is one of the book recommendations that I have mentioned for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years now. It's funny because I had a friend give me that for, I think it was my birthday or Christmas. It was one of the two. Because they're close together, so I never remember. But anyway, she had got me that, and that was a good book too. I read that book all the way through, and I've gone back and skimmed through it a couple times. Like 1 or 2 chapters that I really liked or that I want to reiterate, I'll go back and do that. But that book, I won't go back and then read cover to cover. I'll just kind of skim through it. I didn't take notes on that one, on that book. I had read it before I was in the habit of taking notes like that. See, Dow gave that right back. And this doesn't make sense to be a low. And I'm wondering if that's going to be tapped into today. I don't know. But if we do have more downside ahead, I mean, that's got to be cake right there. And so, yeah, again, this to me doesn't look like a low that's going to be set. It looks like it's going to be wrecked. So how do you feel about having a downside objective on Dow, a potential downside objective on S&P, but then we have an upside objective on Nasdaq? As mentioned yesterday, what type of conditions is that? High probability or low probability? When you're going to give that book away? Oh, nice. Nice one, Katarina. Very nice. Right. Ali, Andreas, Katarina, low probability. I still think this could hold, but I would not take a trade here. Like, I wouldn't enter the market here. I wouldn't do that. Let me see. That was a lunch high. This was a morning high. So it's, to me, it's like it didn't even run really any liquidity that I would want to see it run to go lower. So that's yikes. You know what? You know what other market is heavy today is the metals. They are heavy as well. We'll take a look at them in conjunction. What? Let's let me give this a couple more candles. I just want to see what happens here. Excuse me. I want to see what happens here. Bro, honestly, I should record my notifications on Twitter right now. You would not believe, man. You would not believe. But I guess, let me update this. I mean, it's only been like 45 minutes. Yeah, 643,000 today. Yeesh. That's a lot. And of course, it's the religious one that gets the most, or second most, actually. So that's not a surprise. I didn't even think about that going into it either. I did not consider that. So that might be a new low. Possibly. So that means Dow looking like it's getting ready to yeet. It is looking that way. You know what? If these lows here, I think that would have been a much better downside target if we, instead of trading barely higher to then dump, I think what would have been better is if we swept that with something obvious and then ripped. That would have been better. And because we didn't do that, it is hard for me to justify a short. Yeah. Low probability day. So now do you see why? Here's another, I show you guys this all the time. When you have a down candle, okay, that you expect to support price, and it does at first, and then I say this all the time, I'm like, I don't want to see it come back into the down candle. I don't want to see it, you know, trade to this low. And what happens here? It slides right through that. It slides right through that. This right here is a reason why I don't like that. To me, if anything, it may have hit that down candle and then should have got sent higher. That's what I'm thinking. And now it looks like it's doing what I thought I didn't want it to do earlier, like trade below this low and maybe possibly into that imbalance there, which is also inside the daily gap. So would I long this? Probably not. The S&P, if it's going to trade lower, it's probably going to drag the Nasdaq down along with it. And that is probably a reason why I went along this. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's a very heavy day, like heavy to the downside. Look at all these 15-minute candles here. Out of this whole move today, lower, there's only one up candle there and one up candle here. The movement we had during lunch and at the start of this afternoon, look how quickly the market gives back any rally, okay? We rallied up a little bit and then it gets sent lower, okay? So that's what I mean by heavy. It looks like a heavy market. So what I would do now is probably take this off because I'm not going to be worried about it anymore. It gave us a small reaction and then gave it up. It's also another reason why I manage my trades a little bit more aggressively than most. Because if I longed here and then it rallied close to the target, or maybe like halfway from the entry to the target, I probably wouldn't partial, but I'd probably at least go break even if the entry was in here. So if it comes back to get me out, all right, it's not a loss. Because then what happens if this gives up and then just goes lower? Then you take a full loss or, you know, something like that versus a break even. So, hey, low expectations kind of day. And I think it's going to be probably like this for the rest of the day. If anything, I would take a break between now and the next 45 minutes. And then I would come back to the chart for the final hour to see if there's going to be anything significant. Are we going to run to the lows? Or is the Nasdaq going to run maybe to the highs? I don't know. I don't want to give you an idea that I don't have a high conviction for. And because of that, I don't want to say upside or downside. What I was looking for did not pan out here. So probably best to sit on the sideline today. What do you guys think? You guys think sideline or what? I'm gonna take a brief look at gold as well before I forget. I don't know what this gray box is here. Probably some on the higher time frame. I would be a little bit. Where's my silver? I'm actually surprised silver traded back into this larger imbalance here. I usually don't want to see that deep of a retracement. Gold, same thing. It looks like it traded into the lower end of this imbalance here, but I'm not convinced that there's anything more noteworthy than maybe the weekly imbalance here, which is slightly different from this daily here. But nothing like outside of that, I don't really have any other justification for wanting to long here. So I don't think this is going to bottom here. And with that, okay, gold is heavy today too. So the indices are heavy. Gold is heavy. The dollar has rallied. So very nice response again from this imbalance from the other day. We noted that afterward, but I believe it was on Monday I said I happen to be rather bullish on dollar. And yesterday was kind of wonky, but today it has traded up and into this old imbalance here as well. And remember, that was in conjunction with a lower Australian dollar. And that was, again, part of the justification for a higher dollar too. Euro, slightly lower. Hasn't gone down to the 108.35s. So, I mean, it's still sliding lower, just not as aggressively as Australian dollar. And I want to say there's probably a little bit more emphasis on British pound going lower. But as with Monday, I looked it over here and I don't see anything that's worth really looking at. So there's that. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, last thing before we hop off here, I forgot. Make sure to update your Dow from yesterday. Remember to update the idea that we had. I have the screenshot already. If you're in the Discord, I posted both the screenshot before and after. So just today, yeah, today, make sure you go back and London's low, Monday's low, and you do the follow-up. Okay. Now, for your notes though, and the study as well, make sure if you have this gap on here, like if you're looking at CFDs, it's probably going to print a candle. If you have the gap here, okay, you need to note what time this occurred. That was after hours, okay? So have that there. And have a small reminder as well that this is where accounts get their face ripped off. This is where slippage can occur. You can lose a lot of money fast with gaps like this that are not, in your favor. But go back and mark up the lows and the two sets of lows that we outlined, okay? Because everybody was surprised about this gap, right? People on Twitter didn't understand. But we were bearish. So, okay. That's why the two levels of liquidity, all right? It's just the timing. The timing was very interesting. So, hopefully you understand a little bit more about bias. And also days like today, when you should stay out of the market. Okay, when is not a good time to trade? Today, probably not a good day to trade. The final hour may present something, but am I looking to do anything right now? No. We're stuck now right in between the highs on the Nasdaq and then the lows on the S&P. So it could go either way. And I don't want to put money on that. Okay. Bearish on Nasdaq till around 15,150. Oh, Jesus. That's forever away. Big manipulation move on Friday with NFP. Yeah, probably that too. Probably that as well. So be smart. Don't be a silly goose. I would utilize the rest of today. I mean, if you're at work, go back to work. If you have free time, I'd probably read. I read a little bit this morning. I'll probably read a little bit more and then go from there. So don't forget about your discipline challenge for those of you that are in the Discord. All right. And that's going to be it for today. Okay. So set your alerts. Again, I don't know what's going to be hit or not, but I'm going to set an alert at 45.34 on the S&P. And I already have an alert on the Nasdaq at 15,523.5. Okay, so whatever happens, happens. No bias. I'm not going to brag if either one gets hit. Okay, well, I may or may not. I don't know. We'll see. But publicly, I'm announcing that I do not have something solid for this afternoon. It could go lower. It could go higher. I don't know. Okay, and with that being said, that's when you walk away and you do not put money at risk, because that's how you get easy losses. That's what we don't want. All right, so y'all be good, man. I will see y'all not tomorrow, but on Friday. I will see you again on Friday. All right, so stay cool, stay blessed. I'll see you then.